We're going to get started and they can join us when they join us. How about that?
Does that sound good? We'll get started, then we'll bring them up. Okay. All right. Hello, everyone. Hi. My name is Sandy Fox, and I'm a voice actor. Yay. And Kawaii Kon asked me to host this panel of incredible women voice actors. I've been a member of an organization called Women in Animation for 5-6 years now. And Women in Animation was founded to foster relationships with studios and help bring more women roles to life in the writing, to help promote education and mentorship for not only writers, directors, animators, but also for voice actors and voice directors. And it's also such a great community of networking, of support for really helping raise the bar in the industry and get more women roles, not only in voiceover and animation as animators and writers, but also just really helping women thrive and really having equal pay, equal amount of writers in writers' rooms and things like that. So I've been mentoring with them for 2 years in the writers' room. I'm developing my own animated series, a couple of them. And it's just a great supportive networking organization. You can always look them up online, Women in Animation. But since March was Women's History Month, and we honor and celebrate, we're going to celebrate all these incredible women we have today, and just learn a little bit more about them, and then we can do a Q&A at the end. So I guess I can get started. So I got started in the industry 31 years ago. My foundation came from live stage performing, musical theater in high school, live stage singing, dancing, comedian actress, working for theme parks. I worked for the Walt Disney World Company for 11 years, doing live shows in the parks and for conventions. I did on-camera work and some films. Actually, I got my Screen Actors Guild card playing a space hooker in a movie called Super Force. So, then I was singing with a 1920s jazz orchestra. I was singing all the songs of Betty Boop, and I was asked to voice Betty Boop for more and more projects and eventually work at Universal Studios Hollywood. And that's when I came to LA and started voicing shows in animation and mainstream animation. You might have heard me as Chibiusa and Black Lady and Sailor Moon. But some of my original anime that I did were the Tachikomas and Ghost in the Shell, and I sang all the songs for the Magic Knight Rare series in English, and Flan and Disgaea, and some of the video games Murray and Dot Hack. So you can always look up, go to sandyfox.com and you can see all the different shows. But yay, Mew, Mew, Mew! Yeah, lots of characters that don't speak words. But cute. Cute is that's my brand. Cute. Saving the world one cute character at a time. So yeah, oh, come on up, guys. We're just having a conversation. Yay, no worries. Yeah, come on up.
You wanted to be late.
Yeah. They made an entrance. So just to inform you guys, we're celebrating women in animation, and we're going to talk about ourselves a little bit and how we got started, and then we'll have some interesting questions, and then we're going to open it up to the audience. Okay. So here's Amanda Miller.
Hey guys, I'm Amanda C. Miller. I am the voice of, as Sarah said yesterday, like you can Google it, but I guess I'll give you the highlights. Sailor Jupiter in Sailor Moon and Sailor Moon Crystal. Boruto in Boruto's dad's son. In this series Boruto, which follows Naruto. I'm the voice of Juko and Toko in Danganronpa the video games. And then Sully and Chershi in Fire Emblem Awakening. Those are some of the main ones. And then Joe and Kid Cosmic, which is a show that I love, but Netflix never promoted, so it only exists in my mind. Yes.
Hi,
You know how to pick them.
Hi everybody, I'm Sarah Natachetti. What's going on? How's everyone doing today? I played Ash Ketchum on Pokemon. I've been doing that for 17 years. I also played what?
No, because of the last.
No.
No, it's just because Pokemon just said.
You like Pokemon? I also played 21 of the Pokemon on the show. Lesser known fact, I played Zelia, his mom, and a bunch of trainers. Skyla is a fun one. I'm also in Yu-Gi-Oh! As Aura in Yu-Gi-Oh! Arc 5. I was in Ghostbusters Afterlife as a Mini Puffs. It's my best work. Thank you. I've done a lot of cartoons in New York. I got to play Marion and Robin Hood, some classics. Tinkerbell and Peter Pan, Lampo and Baby Pie and Igor in 44 Cats. Is anybody young enough to be appreciating that? Okay, cool. A lot of little kid stuff. Robocar Poli? Nobody? Not my scene. Okay. That's okay. I'm also Yuzuha in Tokyo Revengers. That's my new role. That's the first thing I've done since the Ash Ketchum news. Thank you so much. I'm just happy to be at this table with Sandy Fox, honestly. So I'm just kidding.
A bunch of legends here. Hi everyone, I'm Erica Schroeder. I was the original Luffy, the original Blaze the Cat in Sonic the Hedgehog. I currently voice Eevee, Sylveon, Flareon, Espeon, and Glaceon, and 60 plus other Pokemon. One fun one is Meloetta. And we got Nurse Joy in the house. I was the second Nurse Joy. And also in the Pokemon universe, I got to voice Bianca, who's a little bit whoop, whoop, whoop. So that's really fun. And in Yu-Gi-Oh, Dark Magician Girl, My Valentine, Akiza Izinski, little known fact, Camula in GX. And what else? I don't know. One of my favorite shows that I'm working on now is a prelay called Boy, Girl, Dog, Cat, Mouse, Cheese. We're in season 3. We're really hoping for it to get picked up in the States. It's currently in Europe and Canada. And one of my most fun recent things, somewhat recent, was Davos in World of Warcraft, which was a total blast. Loved working on that. So, and I'm just really happy to be in the company of all these incredible women, voice actors, and stage actors, I assume some of us, and some on-camera actors as well. So I started out in theater. I did regional theater and Broadway and off-Broadway. And that's just a little bit about me. So thanks for having us.
Okay, I have a question I want to open up to the panel, and that is, on your downtime, when you're not doing voiceover and you're not auditioning, what do you do to keep your creativity alive? What else? Because I know maybe we could start with Amanda. I was very fortunate to star and a guest star in her show, her web series. Yeah.
Oh,
So,
yeah.
yeah.
See, if I'd known you, you could have been in the episode too. We had.
She had to get me. Why are you looking at me?
Because her name's not Erica. So I had a web series a couple years back called Ghosts and Stuff Inc. And it was basically like kind of like Parks and Rec meets Ghostbusters. You can find it on YouTube. But I had Sandy was a character in there called Cheryl.
Cheryl, yes.
And then a character called Cheryl. And then we had there's a joke in our industry that like everybody's named Erica. Because there's like Erica Ishii, Erica Harlicker, Erica Mendez, Erica Lindbeck.
Yeah.
So there's so many Ericas. So we had an episode where Erica Lindbeck played like the sorority sister who was like possessed, and then like all the actual Ericas played like a version of themselves.
Send this to me. I want to see it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's on YouTube, right?
Yeah. So, but yeah, I love writing and creating. I'll write things that will never see the light of day, but like I'll write feature films, pilot stuff. But it's like I don't know. So like that's really fun. I like making sketch comedy. I don't know. I'm trying to learn how to play piano. So I guess that's how I stay creative.
I have too many things that I try to do all at the same time, so I'm a little sporadic. I've released 2 singles in the last year, and I also did a cover of Soldier Poet King in the style of Venti from Genshin Impact. You know, it was very cool, and let me make a whole music video for it. It was awesome. And then I also did a Kingdom Hearts musical puppet show. I wrote 6 songs for it, and I released 1 so far. I don't have time to make the whole thing. It takes a long time to make all the puppets, it turns out. But eventually, I want to release more. And I'm finishing up a novel that I've been writing for the past few years. So basically, when I'm not voice acting, I'm doing every other creative thing in the whole world. And I feel like I jump around, just depending on the day. So yeah.
We're just incompetent over here.
I don't know, I feel like you're just not auditioning enough.
I know. Yeah,
You
I
need to
really
work
do.
harder.
I'm
And you're also not working enough, not enough credits.
I'm fitting
How are you doing all of this?
That's a great question.
How many hours a night do you get to sleep? Can I ask a bunch of questions?
I love to sleep.
How often do you sleep?
I sleep till like 8 hours.
You sleep every night, or like you skip?
It depends. If I'm too crazy busy, I'll sleep like 6 hours, 5 hours.
She works outside time and space.
Yeah.
Time is a man construct.
It's just
Time doesn't apply to
it's an
her.
earthly construct.
Do you time yourself? Like when you sit down to write, are you like, I'm going to write for an hour and then move on to the next thing? You just like, you do this as you, and you're like, oh, I'm going to move on to the other.
When the mood strikes, I sit down and then I vanish into the whatever I'm doing, and then I blink and it's 8 hours later, and I'm like, oh crap, I did all the things I really was supposed to do.
Yeah.
But look at that, I wrote 20 pages.
So your agents are just mad at you all the time.
Somehow I still get stuff done.
See, the somehow is where I have, that's where my questions lie. That's where my questions are, the somehow.
My husband always is like, I don't understand. Everything always just kind of falls into place for you. And I'm like, I don't know, man. I don't know what's going on.
I'm very jealous of you. There's so many Power Rangers here. You guys see? What a crossover hard to see.
It's alright, we're voice actors, you only need to hear us.
They're
How are
Polaroid.
you gonna fight the bunnies, man? You gotta protect us. I hired them for my security. How do I stay creative? I magically remain so. I audition a lot. I do play piano.
Nice.
Dueling piano. Yeah. Would that be
I
weird?
can play
I can
random
play-
chords.
Oh, really? I can play one thing really well.
That's all you need, like at a party.
You're just
Oh,
like,
That's
oh
it.
yeah. You're gonna look at me, and they're like, oh, would you play for the rest of the night? No, you need to pay for that. Really don't. So I do that. Sometimes I paint. I'm writing a movie now for myself as an on-camera actor because I kind of put that to the side for a long time. Shh, I'm speaking.
Say great question.
You're whispering. You're whispering during my answer. Let's see, what else do I? Oh, I'm getting into yo-yoing. I met this guy, Evan Nagao, who's a world championship yo-yo master. And he's been teaching me, and he says that I'm his fastest student. So now he's given me a yo-yo, and I was working on it last night in the hotel room, just knocking down the TV.
What's your coolest trick?
I don't know the name of it. Oh, the DNA. I nailed the DNA in like a heartbeat. It was great. And then I practiced it at home, and it's like not happening. So I rewatched the video of myself doing it, and I like positioned my body properly, and it's working now.
Do you have it with you?
Yeah, I do.
Do you want to show us a little yo-yo? It's all about creativity, right?
Do we need to sound like a liability waiver?
Wait, there's no stage. Alright.
Stand on the stage.
Yeah, you can go right in front.
Never leaves her side.
Oh my gosh, so exciting!
That might be bad. This might not be good. No, you have to be perfect.
It's gonna be great.
You said you nailed it.
This is-
Don't be swell.
This is an old art form.
Okay.
Oh gosh, I'm so nervous.
Everyone's helping. No pressure. We got you.
Alright, so there's this one that I forgot what it's called, but
so scary.
Oh, she's gonna do another one.
This is the DNA. Hopefully this is the DNA. Wait, let me do this way.
I'm messing you up.
Yes. No, it's not gonna work. Dang it!
Walk the dog? Is there a walk the dog?
Wanna walk the dog?
No, isn't there one
Yeah, I can walk the dog.
Okay, cool.
Sarah.
Yes, no.
Next year. I create children. That was my greatest creation. I create a lot of things, but my daughter is Miss Madigan Early Kakmar, and my son is Schroeder Steady Kakmar. My daughter is a voice actress. So I spend a lot of time recording her auditions and engineering her sessions. She works on Bat Wheels. She's BB the Batgirl Cycle, and the only preschool show that has ever taken place in the nighttime, which I think is such a cool idea, isn't it?
For the kids who can't sleep.
Exactly. Well, I mean, like the whole show takes place at night, so there's never daytime, which I think is kind of cool. I'm a singer. I sing a lot of demos for my husband, who's a composer, and I love to paint and sculpt and draw and do all of those things with the kids when they were little. They didn't have preschool. We just gardened and drew and painted and sculpted and just did jewelry making, and I just love the visual arts just as much as I love the performing arts. What else do I do? Well, I've written a screenplay or two as well, and haven't done anything with it yet. I wrote a series of short plays a long time ago. What happens when you collaborate with somebody or two people and then they just like move? That happened a couple times to me. Yeah, I love, well, and I spend a ton of time, like you guys, auditioning. Auditioning is a full-time job, you guys. And then acting is a full-time job. Mothering is a full-time job. And then I'm dialing back on this, but I am an audition-only, reference-only voice acting coach. And I've been doing that for 10 years. I'm very, very passionate about it. And I love teaching people the art of acting and the craft of acting, because that's what it is. I'm not telling them, this is how far you stand away from the microphone. Oh! That was weird timing! I'm not telling them about mic technique and stuff like that, because it's something you can learn in 30 seconds. I'm telling them, you know, how to create a character, how to create voices, how to diversify, how to be in touch with your own emotions, things like that. It's very intense and I love it, and there's no formula. It's organic to each person, and you're bringing out their strengths, and you're taking their weaknesses, and you're bringing them up, and things like that. And I feel it's a very creative thing, and I'm extremely passionate about it. So those are some of the creative things that I do. Sandy, that was such a great and fun question.
I'll share a couple of mine. How I spend my time when I'm not auditioning. I wrote a kid's book, and I really am inspired by writing for children. And really fostering, and encouraging them to create a better life for themselves, to help ease mental health, anxiety and mental health. So I wrote a kid's book called A Chakra Star Journey, and it's a little meditative journey that they go through the colors, but they also go through their light centers in their body, which are called chakras. And I won a Hay House Award for that. So I'm going to get that book published in this year, and I just love writing and creating, and I love learning. Like, I will take a class in anything. I just love classes online and the intuitive arts and the mystical arts. I really do believe that everything is energy. It's not just what we see, but the energy around us, and we create that energy, and we can move that energy and create a better world. So that's an inspiration. And I have a foundation called the Love Planet Foundation, where we go into schools and we talk to kids about how to keep your water clean and our groundwater clean, and ways that they can do small, tiny acts that make a big difference. So that's really exciting to me because I think mothers and teachers are the most important people on the planet because we're creating and, fostering the future.
That's so awesome. I didn't know about the foundation.
Yeah.
I didn't know about the book either.
Yeah.
I want a signed copy.
Okay.
I'm gonna pay full price.
Erica, do you have like coach and then baby maker on your business card? You should, like professional coach, part-time baby maker or something like that.
That's a great part-time baby maker. I love it. You know, you were talking about schedule. It's interesting how each of us does that, right? Sometimes the inspiration strikes you, and sometimes you. For me, once I had kids, it's very much about schedule. Like I have time blocked in the morning for coaching, then I act for a certain amount of hours, and then I audition at night. And then, but I started auditioning in the morning because I'm so exhausted by the end. I was like, sometimes getting up at 7 in the morning and just like being fresh-minded, also with your lower register, right?
Yeah.
It's like nice, so.
I don't know if I have that in the morning. No, good morning. Well, let's open it up to the audience. If you guys want to come up, there's a mic right there and ask questions. Anything you want?
You can pull it down.
There you go.
Do what I do. Make sure it falls apart as soon as you touch it.
Do you want help or?
You can take it off.
Yeah.
So I know like a couple of you are like in the Pokemon franchise. Who are your guys' least and favorite Pokemon?
Which franchise?
Pokemon.
Oh,
We
Pokemon.
probably all answer that in a way, right?
Yeah.
What do you think?
Who goes
My favorite Pokemon is Pikachu. My favorite Pokemon to play on the show is Baneri. I don't have a least favorite Pokemon. It's like being like, oh, I don't like that child of mine. There might be some truth to one or two, but I'm not the only one. Thank you.
Oh, I just love Pikachu. It's like just seeing Pikachu out in the world just brings so much joy. So I love Pikachu.
I love Eevee and all the evolutions. Basically, everyone Eevee, right? Leafeon is my favorite of the
Girl, there's no Leafeon English language yet.
I love Leafeon.
Right?
So
You need to get on that.
much. I know. Tell them to let me into the show.
I could be right about that. I think I am.
Yeah,
Good to know.
it used to be Umbreon, but then Leafeon's so freaking cute. So,
Yeah.
I love it.
My
least favorite.
I don't know.
Maybe like a choke or something.
What is the cool horse one? Is it Rapidash? And my least favorite Pokemon is Erica. I won't tell you which one. There's a lot of them.
I would say I loved voicing Sandy the Eevee. I love the Alolan shorts at the beginning. I just love doing that. And Meloetta because it brings together my passion for musical theater and my passion for animation at the same time. I don't have a least favorite. I think I actually said yesterday one of my favorites was voicing Garbodor. I think that's one of many people's least favorite. But I like it because Garbodor like retches and kind of vomits while he talks, which I find really funny and interesting. I basically crack myself up every time I do it. The director and I are just like, giggling in the corner. That was a great question. Thank you.
I have one more.
Sure.
Do any of you guys collect Pokemon cards?
Okay, when I was a kid, I was so into collecting Pokemon cards, and I had like holographic Japanese Venusaur and like Charizard. It was so cool. And then one day, my dad was like, "Do you want this binder full of stuff?" And I was watching cartoons, and I wasn't really paying attention. And I was like, "Oh, but yeah, I'm watching TV," and he threw them away. Oh no! And I've never gotten over it. So I can't start again because I'm just scarred for life. But I do collect Yu-Gi-Oh cards.
I collect Garbage Pail Kids. I did. They're great. I was very anti-Cabbage Patch. I didn't like anything where it was too expensive to get and people needed it to be cool.
Yeah.
anything that you need to be cool, I'm against. I think everyone's cool on their own and they should just do their own thing.
Hi, so I have a little bit of a heavier question. You know, as I just started, I graduated and I started working in a very male-dominated industry. And I just wanted to ask, like, have you ever had situations where your male coworkers, not like they're purposefully trying to make you uncomfortable or say something that's like putting you down, but they say it anyway and they don't think anything of it? Like, how would you handle that?
Can I take this one first?
Yeah.
It happens a lot, not as much as it used to. There was one time I had, usually I would just let people talk over me, and I'm kind of just like, I'm a peacemaker. I don't know, I think women in general are taught to be peacemakers, and I love being a peacemaker, and I love bringing people together, and when two people are arguing, I love to be the person in the middle saying, I think you guys don't understand each other. But this person was persistently talking over me, the director, during the session, and like just talking louder, and like I just got really big this one time, and I just was like, "Rah, rah, rah!" You know, just kind of like talked right over him, and he shut up. He shut up, and then the other actor I was in the scene with, so it was not in session, it was remote, like texted and called me afterward and said, are you okay? And I'm sorry that happened to you, and I'm glad you did what you did. So, you know, occasionally I'm not a person who I'm a peacemaker, but there's only a certain amount of that you can take, and you do sometimes need to teach people what respect is. And sometimes it's being the loudest one if that's the only language that they speak. Thank you.
Hello. I have two questions. One is for On's VA and the other is for my Valentine's VA. For Erica, who is your favorite Phantom Thief from Persona 5?
Besides myself.
Yes.
I love Ryuji. Ryuji is so funny, and I just think he's hilarious. And Max Middleman, every character that Max plays is just so funny because Max is such a talented actor, and he just puts so much of himself into the characters. So Ryuji's my boy. I always keep on Ryuji on my team, and then I have like that fourth slot that I switch people out of. So, you know, yeah. Thank you.
In my opinion, Ryuji carries the humor in the game and the animation.
Yes, definitely.
Now, for my Valentine's VA, could you speak your opinion about Yugi and his friends in a My Valentine voice, if that's okay?
What do you want me to say?
Your opinion on Yugi's friends, Yugi and his friends.
Yugi and his friends are the best friends in the world, and Joey and I are together. Now and in the afterlife. Thank you. All right, I hope I don't get in trouble for that.
I am the fan Yu Venom. The first idea, Venom, what's your favorite Samu fan experience?
Oh, thank you. That's a great question. I'll have to say that one time we had a poster signing, and the grandmother, the mother, and the little girl came through. And they were sharing Sailor Moon and the stories of Sailor Moon with all three generations. And I think that's so powerful that women were passing this down to their children and watching it together and sharing it with each other. So that would be one of my. Do you have one?
I mean, there's always really sweet moments. I mean, this one might be kind of sad, but it was really touching because this girl came dressed as Sailor Moon, and she came to our table. I think it was at Anime Expo one year, and she started to cry, and we were like, "Oh, are you okay?" And she was like, "It's just that me and my twin sister used to watch Sailor Moon all the time, and she passed away. And every time she watches the show, it makes her think of her sister." So it's just a very sweet, like, it kind of reminds you that it's not just, you know, cartoons and anime. Like, there's actually like real human experiences being had. So it's just very sweet that it helped her feel in touch with her.
I have one more story to share that you reminded me of. I was doing a signing and a woman came and she was dressed like Black Lady and she had Black Lady tattoos all over her, and she said that she was suicidal, and many times she wanted to take her life, and it was the character Black Lady and how she regained herself, her Chibiusa self, and got rid of her, self-doubt, and it was really that character, that transformation that got her through that experience of wanting to, kill herself. And she was crying and everything, and it made me realize, like, I really had to think about Black Lady and what's really happening in that scene with her. And I feel like Wiseman, the character that's telling her, nobody loves you, see, they all can't stand you, like that represents our subconscious and those negative voices in our head always telling us we're not good enough, nobody loves you. And then the lesson is that there's love all around you, you just have to see it. And so that was like her awakening, and I was so grateful that she shared that with me.
Oh, thanks.
Thank you.
So I have a question for everybody actually. Of all the characters you voice, which one really matches your personality the best?
Ooh, that's
I would probably say Sully from Fire Emblem, because she also flirts the way I flirt, where I'm like, I'm gonna punch you in the mouth. Sometimes I wonder why I didn't have a boyfriend in high school.
Definitely on from Persona 5 is basically me in animated form. When we were recording, I was like, this is exactly how I would respond in all of these situations. And I feel like I just relate to her story a lot, and even like looks-wise, when the game came out, my mom was like, did they model her after you? And I was like, no. So yeah, I just feel like I have a really nice connection with her, and she uses my regular voice too, so it's just basically me animated.
So Izuku is basically my voice, but I would say it took me a long time to realize this, but Ash Ketchum is actually very, very close in personality to myself. He's incredibly tenacious and loves his friends. He's good to the good people around him, and even if they're not great people, he's still good to them. Actually, I should probably work on that. And he keeps going even if he's not great at something. He just, I'm not that great at yo-yo, but it'll take me 25 years, but I'll be having to go one day. Yeah, and we have a lot of parallels. We were canonically born the same year, and then he won Orange League, I won a bronze medal at Junior Olympics, and he won in 2019, he won the Alola League. And I won a Voice Arts Award, and now he won World Championship. I know, something's coming. I'm gonna win a toy out of a claw machine. I'm so excited.
This is the coolest question. If it's okay, I might combine a couple different characteristics from different characters. Luffy, because I'm really goofy. I'm a very goofy person. My kids are like, "You're not funny, Mom," because their whole thing is about being like mean, kind of like but like their humor is mean. My humor is just really, really goofy. I love to transform and just be strange. And also Bianca, because she's just like, I love how every time she entered the screen, she like accidentally pushed Ash into a body of water, or anybody. I love her spastic energy, and I sometimes feel such exuberance and joy for life. I just was born an optimist, and I'm so glad I was, and I feel sad for people who weren't, because it's a harder life, But I also connect to Luffy because of that. I'm a very, very much an optimistic, and I believe in the best in people. And a little bit of Blaze the cat, just because she's intense and she's original and she's her own thing and she's fierce. So thank you so much for the questions.
So I have two questions. One for Erica. That's how you say your name?
Yeah.
Okay.
Good job.
And then one for all of you. Okay. So for Erica, I was wondering what your favorite Genshin Impact character was from each region.
Oh God, each region. Can I pick myself?
Yes.
Okay, great. Well, then from Mondstadt, Venti, obviously. From Liyue, I like Zhongli, even though it's another archive. Sorry. He's just very funny. I like that he never has money. hilarious. Let's see, from Inazuma, I like Yanfei a lot.
She's from Liwei.
Oh, crap. Okay, hold on. From Inazuma, I don't want to say Raiden because that's three archons. Kazuya! Kazuha. Yes, I like him. Animo, got it. And then from Sumeru, I think the Wanderer. He's from Sumeru, right?
Yes.
Yeah. He's pretty cool. I like him. I actually haven't gotten to Sumeru in my playthrough yet, so I'm just going based on like who looks the coolest right now. And, I like him. I also like that blonde kid, Mika. I haven't met him yet.
He's from Mondstadt.
Oh crap. Okay, well, obviously Venti's the best from Mondstadt, so he can't have that. Yeah,
And then, okay, so my question for all of you, while you were like just getting into doing voiceover and voice acting, I was wondering if there were any people who like really inspired you to be who you are.
I'll start. I took my first voiceover workshop was with a voice actor and director named Sue Blue, and what inspired me was her passion and her excitement and the joy of how much she loved what she did. And I'm like, I want to feel like that, and that's such a cool thing, you know, to just love what you do so much. And that's what really inspired me. I mean, she's very talented, but it was really her passion and excitement.
Yeah, I had a similar experience, but my teacher was Tony Oliver, who was a really great, is great, he's not dead. He's a great, may he rest in perfect, or wherever he is. No, he does these classes, which I think he still does, called Adventures in Voice Acting. So you can do it remotely now too, so check him out, Adventures in Voice Acting. And yeah, he's just very nurturing, very warm. He finds a way to kind of, deal with everybody, like wherever they are. He's not like, oh, that was terrible. Like he'll find a way to make you feel really good about what you did. And at the end of the first class I took with him, it was back in college. I thought I was going to go to New York. I was like, I'm going to go to New York and be a Broadway actor. And then I took that class and I'm like, oh, that's actually really fun. Like maybe I should start looking into that more. So yeah, he's just really inspiring to me. And at the end of the class, he's like, you got a future in this business, kid. That's not how he talks, but that is what he said.
Yeah. I also started with Adventures in Voice Acting, and yeah, at the end of the first class, he was like, you should do this as a career. And I'm like, okie dokie. But actually, one of my really big inspirations is Caitlin Glass, who is the table next to me at this convention. And I haven't told her this, but I got her autograph when I was a little wee thing, before I had entered the professional world, and I was just like, voice acting seems cool. And she's just, I really loved, like, I feel like she's so talented, but like the little nuanced stuff that she does in her roles are so cool. I loved Oran Husbosa, like, so much. And then also Laura Bailey was another really big inspiration for me. She does a couple, like, really subtle vocal things that I think are so powerful and so, like, I don't know, I feel like they wouldn't be someone's first instinct to do, and so I kind of studied her style a little bit, and yeah, it's just, there's so many talented people. It's so cool.
I'm a weird one. I went to Lee Strasberg and studied straight acting, and I never took voiceover classes until actually pretty recently. I started studying with directors and casting people and fellow actors who were teaching, and I was always inspired. The reason I love voice acting is actually on-camera people who did a lot of voice acting. So like Kevin Kline and Robin Williams and Jim Carrey and folks like that just whose movies I play over and over and over again and just study the hell out of. Yeah. So I mean, there's a huge list of people. Those are the three that kind of sit at the top of my head.
Like Sarah, I would say there were some on-camera people that inspired me, and they're not the usual, like Paul Rubens. Love Paul Rubens. Bobcat Goldthwait, if anybody knows. And there are people who transformed and became a character, and I just love when you can commit 150% to that character and become that character. And Carol Burnett, just watching reruns of her was like so inspirational, and Lucille Ball. But as far as voice actors are concerned, and I was a huge fan of, I think most of us probably at some point watched cartoons. I mean, I had an internal alarm clock and I literally woke up at 8:59 a.m. on Saturdays. My mom thought it was so like crazy because I would just go, you know, wake up and then run down the stairs and watch the Smurfs. That was like the most important thing in the world to me was to catch the Smurfs, and if I didn't catch the Smurfs, it was really sad. But so later in life, obviously I saw The Little Mermaid, like most of us did, and most of us, maybe not all of us, went like our jaws dropped. And for me it was for Ursula, because I just freaking love Pat Carroll. She passed last year. And here's a story that you guys might not know. I made sure that my kids watch all the classics and stuff, so we got every Garfield DVD there was. And during like Halloween, we watched, you know, Peanuts, and you have to watch all the classics during those time periods. So that we watched, I think it was the Halloween or Christmas special, and Garfield has a grandma. And Garfield's grandma was like, ha! You know, like she just has this crazy laugh, and I was like, oh my God, I love her. Like, who is that? Like, and that rarely happens for me, where I go, who's that? Who's that? I Googled it. It was Pat Carroll.
Yeah.
So she was an inspiration for me, definitely. I've been voicing old ladies for a very long time. You know, since my 20s. And a lot of it was just like, Pat Carroll, she's such an inspiration. Great question, thank you.
Good question.
All right.
Okay, we have like 15 more minutes, so we're gonna try and get through the line, but just keep your questions to one question.
And also we might not all be able to answer.
Yeah,
It's
just
basically
one.
like a minute per person is kind of what we have.
Yeah.
I have a very specific question for Sandy Fox.
Okay.
So you sang the English versions of Freckles and Unyielding Wish for Rurouni Kenshin and Magic Diarrhea. How did you get assigned that job? Were you involved in the writing process? And specifically for Unyielding Wish, you did do a full version of one version of that song, but did you ever do the opening version?
The opening?
No,
Yeah.
no. So there were two. Unyielding Wish had a fast version and a slow version.
Oh yes, yes I did do both, and you can probably find them. People put them on YouTube
Yeah.
with other videos. Okay, great questions. Because I've been a singer most of my life, and they knew I sang, and also at that time when we were dubbing the songs, technology was not at the point where we could change the key or the pitch, and the background was the Japanese background was married to the track. So my husband and I, we took the English adaptation and the English translation, and we wrote the lyrics to sound like those Japanese background tracks. It was really interesting to try to sing in that key, and it was a high key, but we did it. So yeah, we recorded it in a guy's living room in the in the late 90s, and yeah, that was like the early days before we really had the technology. And it's very difficult to get the rights alone from the Japanese songs. Like, we can't just make, I'm gonna do like a cover of this. Like, the studio had to get certain rights, and there's even some Rurouni Kenshin where they don't play the English version because they don't have the rights to it. The rights in Japan are separate from the actual project, and so that you have to go through a whole nother, studio channel to get the rights.
You sang a longer version for the slow version of Unyielding Wish. Did you ever sing those full lyrics on the faster track, or?
Yeah, I think it's, we weren't allowed to even release the CD, but yeah, it's definitely there. We did the whole show. We did all the music in the show.
You did a beautiful job. I loved
Thank
it.
you, thank you.
Okay, we have 10 minutes now, so I'm not going to be able to get through everybody, but we'll try.
Okay, so when you make a demo tape for all your voice acting, how do you come up with the lines you're meant to say? Like, do you read out of the script, or do you have to make up something?
I produce them with my students who I've worked with for a long period of time, but the characters come from within them, and they're created, and then there's a bunch of different processes that you can use, but they write their own because it has to come from them, the character, because they will eventually become characters that step into existing roles. And usually I look for like a twist, something where there's a twist on an idea. I'm trying to answer this fast. And then also like an emotional twist, and I'm looking for emotional range and vocal range, but also truth and honesty and authenticity. So it's a Tetris, it's a game of Tetris to find all of those things and find the right moments from each character. And it's not something that happens overnight. It takes several weeks to several months and sometimes over a year, because you have to develop those characters first. And if you really want them to jump off the page. And so that's my answer.
And if you're interested in voice acting, check out a website that Dee Bradley Baker put together that answers a lot of questions, and yours specifically. It's iwanttobeavoiceactor.com. Great question, thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Hi, sorry. I'm a freshman and I have no experience, but I really want to become a voice actor when I grow up. Do you have any advice for me?
I mean, definitely go check out the website, check out Adventures in Voice Acting, the class, and then get other hobbies. Because once you make your passion your job, you're actually going to kind of be like, oh, this isn't as fun anymore. So you're going to want to make sure that you stay well-rounded even while you're pursuing this career. Don't make everything like, all my friends are actors. Everything I do is acting, because it'll make you a boring person. It won't make you a good actor because you're not going to be well-rounded. And also, it's just more fun to have, like, do other things too. I know it's like really far down the road for you. You're asking how to get into it, but I'm just saying, as somebody who's been in it for a while, stay well-rounded, stay grounded, touch grass, all that stuff.
Thank you.
So this is completely random. Do you guys have like a ritual, like before you start like a role? What do you usually do to exercise your voice or anything? Sure, I have like 10 to 15, I've never actually counted, tongue twisters, and I do them in the same order every time when I warm up. And if I know what the character voice is going to be, I do them in like something close to the character voice when I'm warming up. I also do vocal techniques for vocal warm-ups that I learned in theater in college, so I do a lot of that. And yeah, it's basically, I have a routine, so I can do it without really thinking now. I just kind of go through the different steps, warm up my registers. If I know I'm only going to use like my lower register, my higher register, I'll maybe skip the opposite one for the warm up, because why bother? But yeah, and yeah, it's mostly tongue twisters. Thanks so much.
So what was the most frustrating line to perform?
Line?
The most frustrating line you've had to perform?
Team Rocket. When I first started doing Pokemon, my director made me say Team Rocket in various different ways, like 60, 70 times. And he kept like giving me live readings, and I'm like, dude, are you serious? It was very funny, and it's gotten me to say Team Rocket the appropriate way since.
A lot of the screams in Beyblade were very long and very difficult. And the very last one that I did was about 10 seconds of a guttural scream for Dante. And at the end of it, my vision went black, and my head went, and I was like, okay, and is that the last line? I think I'm done. So, yeah, I died. Thank you.
I'd say dying a million ways in video games.
Thank you.
Thank you.
This is for Erica. You voiced Violet Evergarden, right?
I do.
That's like one of the most important anime to me, because I have autism, so I really related to her, like how she talked and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I wanted because I have a really hard time with empathy and being able to relate to people and things like that. So I was wondering how did you get into being able to voice Violet Evergarden like that? Like how you went from her being mom and child, stuff like that, to her finally being able to express her emotion.
Yeah, I love getting to play a character that has an arc. And Violet's arc is so amazing to me, and it's so subtle for a little, it's kind of a slow burn. And I love that. It was one of my first times doing a simuldub for an anime, so I was very nervous that we were gonna make choices. Thank you! That we were gonna make choices that then in the last episode they were like, I'm just kidding. She was an alien the whole time. And I'm like, okay, thank God. But yeah, it was, I love playing Violet. It's one of my favorite roles that I've ever gotten to play. I feel like getting into her character was so special, and I feel like I have ADHD, which is like kind of also, neurodivergent on the spectrum. So I felt like I related to her in a lot of different ways, and I'm so happy people connected with her.
I really did.
Thank you.
Hello everyone, my name is Eric. I wanted to know, I just forgot my question. How do you guys land on the right sound for your masculine characters?
They tell me when I hit it. I look at the character and I consider the age of the character. That's the biggest thing for me. And how spunky he is, and kind of how not spunky he is. If he's a very innocent child, I just adjust based on the description and the look of the character and what the director wants.
Yeah, I was gonna
Make it
say,
sound easy.
I feel like our voices tend to be like, I don't know, if we have like naturally kind of deep voice, it's like, for me, my boy voices are closer to my natural voice than my girl voices are.
Yeah, same, right.
And so I think it's the same thing where it's like, is he like cocky and confident, or is he kind of like a little shy or whatever? Like, so it's like that. I think it's more the attitude of the character that shapes how it sounds than just trying to put like a sound on it,
Yeah, we don't put sounds on it.
Yeah.
Sometimes with the character younger, like imagine there are marbles in your mouth and you have to
Yes.
overcompensate. If that's
Yeah.
a good way to kind of feel more scrappy, or if the character is scrappy, like you said, if they're nerdy, a little more like they might not do that as much.
And I stand differently.
I was just
when
gonna say
I'm in the
that,
studio, I get it in my body. 'Cause
Yeah.
I have to be,
I feel like
I'm pretty girly.
I feel like my weight is centered a lot lower. When
Yeah,
I'm
my
playing a
weight's
black
centered
character.
different, and I move.
Yeah. I was gonna say that same.
Good question.
Thank you.
We have 3 minutes, so we
Yeah,
might want to
3
give
minutes.
Jenny,
Are you Jenny?
the rest of you can come to our tables afterwards.
Yeah, we'll be signing after. Come ask questions.
I recently started playing Pokemon Scarlet, and I was wondering what starter Pokemon I should choose.
What are is that Sprigatito? Is that generation?
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, Sprigatito.
That's what I think.
I'm not a huge Pokemon stan.
Yeah. It's Sprigatito.
Alright.
Thank you for the question.
When you watch anime, do you watch it in sub or dub?
I watch it because I'm busy, so I'm usually doing laundry or doing something else, so I need to hear it.
Yeah.
My son watches it, and he does both, and so it depends on what I walk into. But I don't generally watch too much. Just, I guess I just don't have a lot of time for it, unfortunately.
I watch it just to study it, and so I watch the sub, and then I switch over to the dub, and then I'll go back, and I just kind of, it's more of a study.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
My question is for Erica. I'm a huge fan of the Fate franchise, and I was especially fond of Fate Apocrypha. So I was just have to ask, what was it like voicing a character like Jean?
It was awesome. I was so excited to be the protagonist in one of the Fate series. That's so cool. And Jean was amazing, and she's very serious, which a lot of my characters are not quite as serious. But every once in a while, like Karapika and Jean, I've got some serious ones. She was so cool. It was cool to be playing Joan of Arc, like a historical figure, and she goes through like a lot. There's moments where she relives getting burned at the stake, and I love having dramatic acting moments, so I love her. And then in the more recent Fate anime, I got to play Jean Alter, which was very fun. So I finally got to put a voice to the evil version of her. Very cool.
They need to animate the part where she's in the game, in Grand Order, when they have her, the Shinjuku part,
Yes.
and the part in France where you have Jean and Jean Alter fighting each other.
Yes.
Amazing.
Oh, I wish. Hopefully. Thank you.
as I can, but when you're voice acting, I know you're pretty natural at it now, but like for example, if there was someone starting out like me, how do you get out of yourself when you're acting a character? Because I'll be like voice acting and then I'll be like, yeah, this is a good take, and then I listen back to it and it's just my regular voice and I'm like, ugh! You know, so how do you get over that?
I don't think being in your regular voice is a problem.
Yeah,
I think
not
it's
a
more about the specificity of like, if you're thinking about how it sounds while you're doing it, you're not in the moment. You need to be thinking about, okay, is this character like, are they close to the person? Are they like, you know, being like, I'm gonna threaten you, I'm gonna throw you off a building? Like, what is happening in that moment? Because if you're specific to that moment, it's gonna sound believable if you believe it in your head. So that's what acting is. It's more the imagination muscle than it is actually how you sound. If that makes sense.
Yeah, and it's
What
asking.
the character wants is the
Yeah.
most important thing.
There's soul questions for your characters. Who am I? What is my purpose? Why am I here in this scene? So starting to ask those deeper questions really opens up, you know, you get out of you and you get more into the character.
Sometimes I ask myself that question and I don't know. Just kidding. Thank you so much.
So there's still a couple areas of the industry that are kind of heavily male-dominated. What ones would you feel that you're really excited to see women start to take more and more ownership of?
Yeah.
I've had so many amazing female directors.
Yeah.
I've worked with over 20, maybe 30, and yeah, there's a ton, which is good. It's a good thing.
Yeah, I'd say writing. So, because when you have women writers, you have more of that voice that is you know put into the world through that medium.
I like that. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Thank you.
Good question.
Hi, quick question and open. How did you find your first professional voice acting job?
I was an intern at a voiceover studio. They knew I was an actor. I just graduated theater school, so they threw me in like the background of like to do Walla, which is like extra work basically. And so I kind of did that, and then I started doing one-liners, and then eventually they started letting me audition for real roles, and then eventually I started booking them.
That's how we met. We were interns together.
Same
Oh my God, crazy. Yeah.
My answer is outdated. I got an agent before I ever had a job as a voice actor, and they sent me on auditions, but that's not how it works anymore.
In New York, the theater was like big, so I did Broadway first, and then was asked to audition for Ultraman Tiga, and that was my first job, was a live action dub. It was just a ton of fun.
Yeah, mine was commercials. I had an agent when I moved to LA, and I was the quirky girl in commercials.
Thank you, this is really helpful.
Thank you. That's why we made it.
What character would you like to voice?
Out of all the characters in the world?
Yeah, but not your own.
Something original. The newest, funniest thing around, right?
Yeah.
We would like to be in a series together, all of us.
Yeah.
Like a series.
Yeah.
So one of the women in the audience needs to be the writer, like Sandy said. Write a show for us.
Yeah, we're all going to be at our autograph tables in the dealer's room, so come on down, say hello, ask any more questions you want, and come visit. Yay!
I mean, I won't be there till 4:30. I'm grabbing lunch, but then I'll be there.